So Josh had a question about a couple of terms that I used that he wasn't familiar with. The melt up, which is where I believe the stage that we've entered in the stock market and the crypto market, which means things just now are going up exponentially, even though they're severely overvalued. They can get a lot more overvalued. And the bail in, where the banks take depositor money. Here's that conversation. Okay, so the bail-in is when you make a deposit in your bank account, you think that that's your money, but that's just your perception. In reality, you have loaned the bank that money. And in the Dodd-Frank Act, what they actually did enact and tested was just keeping your deposits, period. At first, they did it with all deposits, and then the world went, oh, no, what about deposit insurance? What about deposit insurance? So they backed that out, and they allowed people to kind of keep the amounts under the insurance limits. However, they also put limitations on how much you could take out of the bank. So you couldn't run to the bank and in Cyprus, that limit is 100,000 euros. You couldn't run to the bank and pull out 100,000 euros. You were lucky to get 100 euros a day. Right. This is what they do. It's control. And banks have what's called a safe harbor, means they can do anything they want and you have no recourse. So that's the bail-in, and that will happen. And that's a bail-in. They'll keep the deposits, and they've been testing it since the regional banks. This is a better definition to put in the first one that I did when we were talking about the merger of the regional banks, right? But do you remember the 2023, the banks that failed? All of that, right? They were testing it, and they didn't believe that the world was ready yet to see that bail-in, so they bailed everybody out with tax dollars. But you've also heard that, you've heard that term in that FDIC quote, right? And they said people don't realize they're going to be bailed in. So they just keep your deposits. That's what a bail-in is. And they don't keep them. What they do is they convert them into shares in the failing bank. So they ask you, why are they asking you that? Because their job is to make you nervous and keep the cash in the bank. That's what their job is, the tellers. And they don't even understand it. They just know that this is what they're supposed to do. And the melt up is when you see how overvalued things are. Well, they just get a lot more overvalued, because then what happens is people, they get blinded by numbers. And so that nominal confusion, right? Now, cryptos are going up, so I want in. Fear of missing out. The stock market's going up. I want in. The fear of missing out. And so running to things that appear to be going up as they're actually literally destroying what you can only convert that stuff into, that's the melt up, and the melt up typically takes place before the crash. So, for example, in Venezuela, they had the best performing stock market in the world, 2012, 13, 14, I think 15 as well, but it's because they were experiencing hyperinflation. And so they were melting up rapidly. And then, of course, the hyperinflation is also in gear, and that's when they do the overnight reset, and stocks and all the intangibles, they drop like a stone. Gold, spot gold, will hang up there on average about 9 months. I can't guarantee how long, maybe it's going to be sooner, before that too resets, but then it starts climbing again where the others don't, where the stock market, these other markets don't start climbing up, but actually the gold market does. So
for the melt up, like what we saw in Venezuela, the stock market just goes through the roof, like what our stock market is doing right now. So if it's evidence of hyperinflation, wouldn't that just mean, until the crash, people are rich, 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 and then it tanks. And then all that money that they earned, the nominal, is valueless.
Yes, but you have to also keep in mind that while the stock market is going up, so are the prices for everything. So a lot of times when people realize that the hyperinflation is in gear, they are attempting to ride that wave, because really that's what the whole stock markets were designed to do, right? Make up for the wealthy, that loss in purchasing power. But when you're in a hyperinflationary mode, for the average person, it never keeps up, and it certainly doesn't in a hyperinflationary mode. But everything goes up. So it's not like you're rich, rich, rich. You just kind of feel rich because you see things going up.
That's why gold goes up in price, but everything, like when you look across everything's going up just because the dollars are just worth less, and so you need more to buy what you...
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, you got it. It isn't gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Gold does what it's always done. It holds your purchasing power intact, right? Ounce of gold is an ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. But it is in terms of purchasing power, in terms of wherever you are, not just dollars, but wherever you are.